RWBY Chibi episode 3. Now this episode, I gotta say, I didn't enjoy as much as the other two episodes. I think it had some funny stuff in it. The thing with Juane was probably my favorite. That and I guess Juane and Blake part 2 I really enjoy, which I would love for that to be like a recurring gag each episode. Even if it's like it's a simple little thing, but I still enjoyed it. And we got to see a bit more of Juane, which is funny, and the way they did it where like when he stood up to get into like the trash can and he fell because he's just so flat, I guess, on his butt. He was just straight up and then just had to fall over and roll to stand back up on all fours. I just thought that was a cute little thing that they put in there, so I thought that was funny. I knew Blake was. I thought she would just be in the refrigerator, like in the shelves, but she's like actually in the freezer. I thought it just made that a little bit funnier. The Jean thing, like I said, I thought was really good too. It was just him freaking out, and it's him still. I mean, well, the whole series up until like the most recent finale has been him 100%, Weiss. But it was really funny, and he freaks out. And then it's like, oh, Blake found her scroll, and he just crushes. It's like, all right, I'll see you guys later, and he just takes off with nothing, no explanation. But it had its moments, but I just didn't laugh as much as I did with the other episodes. They had some other funny stuff in there, like Yang and Blake. When they're trying to do tag, and Blake is just way too fast for Yang. So they definitely had some stuff that I liked, but it wasn't like the other ones where I felt they were like, I mean, as short as they are, normally like 3 of them being really funny to me is all it really takes, because it's like 5 like really tiny things anyway. There's always kind of like, I guess 2 are normally fairly long, and this one I think was Jean, and probably the Blake and Yang thing may have actually been the second longest, and all that was Yang jumping and trying to catch Blake, which I enjoyed, but it just kept going. I was like, alright, I know what's going to happen. So it didn't make me laugh as much as I felt the last one did, even though they're all only like a couple minutes long. But that says a lot. Like, I recognize, like, oh, I didn't laugh as much in this, and it's only like 3 minutes in length. So I didn't enjoy it as much, but I still enjoyed it. That was a funny little one. And I mentioned this in the last one. I definitely want to see more of the characters. I think I mentioned that in the very first one, that I wanted to see kind of all the characters. So I'm looking forward to what we're going to get. I'd love to see, actually, what they do with villains. Because, of course, with it being the Chibi version, it's not going to get super serious in the fights. But I would love to see how that plays out. Like, if they do, like, silly mini fights or just something like that, I'd love to see how that plays out. So I definitely want us to get more of the villains in, or any of the villains would actually be nice, and more of Team Juniper and all the other teams and stuff like that. I would love to see, Coco in Chibi form, just because I'd love to see her with her weapon out. Just how big would she be compared to her Gatling gun? Like, I would just love to see that in Chibi form. So there's certain other characters I'd like to see as well, based on the weapons that they have, because we don't really see, like, even with RWBY, they don't really show her with her scythe except for like that transition thing. But with it being such a fluid transition, it's just like, oh, she sliced the screen and then it goes to something else. So it's not like I get to kind of measure the comparisons. Plus it's at an angle, so I can't really tell exactly how long it's supposed to be and stuff like that compared to her. So it just makes me wonder, like, if she stood right next to it, would it look really funny? Would it be like at the top of her hair? Little stuff like that. It just makes me curious. But I did enjoy this one. Like I said, it's super tiny, so there's hardly that much to say about it. Either I liked it or I didn't like it. But I did notice I didn't like it as much as I did the past 2 episodes. But I still liked the Jean thing the most. And it was kind of like, this one just had 1 instead of like 2 things that really got to me. It was just the Jean thing. And I liked the Juane and Blake stuff, but it didn't like crack me up. It surprised me that she was in the freezer and not just the refrigerator part. But it's kind of simple. I knew what it was going to be. I thought at first, though, I thought maybe she'll just lean out of something again, which would have been funny. But if they kept that going, I'd be fine with that as a recurring gag, because it would make me laugh. As long as they kind of amped it up every time, like if they did something silly where, they're in the bedroom again, but she wasn't behind a lamp. She was like, she was the drawer, or something really silly. They did like Transformers or something really funny like that. If they just amped it up, I think it would get funnier. But, I'd like to see where they're taking it. As always, with the past 2 episodes, like, what's going to happen next? What little, tiny, random, silly things are we going to get? But, I definitely want to know what you guys thought about this episode, so please comment below. Let me know your favorite little skits, least favorite skits. I think I asked this in, like, the first episode, what little mini skits you guys would want to see, but I would definitely love to know what characters you want to see specifically, and I think I may have asked that before already too, but if you had to pick one character to add in, who would it be? Like, based on whatever, like just favorite characters, or just even if they're like your least favorite character, you might want to see them in chibi form because it might look really cool. Like, if they did something with Roman, giant head, he'd have to have a giant hat. They could definitely do some silly stuff, like he's pulling, doing like magic tricks or something because he's got a giant hat. So there's just a bunch of little characters, but I'd like to see any of the villains, to be totally honest, just because of the possibilities for that. Because if they do the villains, they might just do only villains, so it stays funny. But they might do something, where they actually fight or something silly like that. But I'm looking forward to what we get, next week. It's probably already out for sponsors because the way they have it set up is really weird. So that's why I do my review so late for this show, because it's like it just comes out like days ahead of time for sponsors, but it's almost like you have to wait like 4 extra days after that. So that's why my reviews for these are always like really weird. But we'd love to know what you guys thought about it, and like I said, want to know what characters you really want to see in chibi form. So please comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.